We are back, joined by Tom Abraham. You are the Chief Canine Instructor. Your son is also with us, David. Nice to see you.
Nice to see you too.
And the General, David, joins us again, David Fraser. Canine services, very, very important. There's 4 humans, but no canine. Where's the dog at?
Canine's undercover today.
Someone let the dog out. He's undercover, apparently. But we don't need a dog to talk about the services that you provide and your German Shepherds, I'm guessing. Is that the dog that you guys train?
Correct,
Yeah.
yes.
Let's talk about this whole world of canine services and security.
Sure. Well, canine services and security not only have a lot of history, but are making up a lot of things that are going on in our world today. For example, they're using dogs now to scent COVID. I see new things happening with canine on a regular basis. If it has a scent,
yes,
the canine can detect it.
More so than a human, obviously.
More so than a human, absolutely.
Wow. So what kind of services does your company provide then, Tom?
So we provide 2 types of services. One we refer to as our residential service, where we train dogs to be protection dogs within a home environment. So their purpose there is to protect the people, of course, that are inside. The advantage with home protection dogs is, though alarms and cameras certainly have their place in the security world, a dog is the only being that can match evil with its physical presence. So we train the dogs to be good with the family, yet terminate evil if it comes in the front door. The other bonus about having a trained dog at home is you don't have to wait for emergency services to show up to your door. The response is immediate. On the flip side of that, we have commercial dogs, which you can refer to as either security dogs or police dogs. These dogs are generally trained to do scent work, whether that's finding bombs, guns, currency, or whatever the application may be and whatever the industry that we're hosting.
I want to break it down a little more and talk about how either easy or how challenging it is to train a dog to sniff out all these issues and problems in the world.
Right,
Is it hard?
sure. So the honest answer to that is, I guess for me, maybe because it comes natural to me, it is quite easy to train a dog, but you have to start with the right dog. You have to start with a dog that has the genetics and the raw instincts and drive to want to do the work. When we're testing a dog to see whether we're going to bring it on or not into our program, we will simply present the scent to a dog, go and hide it, and that dog automatically, without command, should want to go and investigate.
Yeah.
Certain tests like that give us the raw instinct and the pattern of trainability that we're looking for, and if that's the case, it's an easy dog to train.
And this next question is for your son up there.
Sure.
I'm assuming you just fell into the family business, David?
I did, but I do love training dogs and working with them. I work with them day and night.
Right on. How many dogs have you guys owned in your time of doing this? Because it would be so hard on me personally. You make this connection with this pet, this animal, and then you have to see them go off and fight crime in their own way. But how many dogs has there been? How long have you been doing this for?
So we've been doing this, I've been doing this for 32 years.
Wow.
And I have 3 boys and my wife, of course, and we're all involved in the family business. My oldest son is a police officer for Toronto. David is now officially a canine handler with Transport Canada. And my youngest is also heavily involved with the business. So to answer your question, truthfully, we don't know how many dogs we've trained because there have been so many over the years. But it's a double-edged sword because, yes, you fall in love with the dog, but 2, you know that the dog is capable of much more than training or being a pet dog. So the justice is in seeing him excel at his God-given talents.
Yes, yeah. And General, you must have seen countless number of canines out in the field in your history of doing this. What is something special that comes to mind when you think canine unit?
they're a huge enhancement to the team. And as Tom said, they can do things that humans just simply cannot do.
Yeah.
The guard dogs, they can sense danger long before any of us can see it or hear it. And they have a physical presence that is intimidating. And you don't want a dog coming after you because there's nothing you want to see about that. And the sniffers are, I didn't know a troop who wanted to go outside the wire, they didn't have a sniffer with them. Because again, they provide such a level of capability that they save lives.
Yeah.
They literally save lives, and as much as everybody loves a dog, the capability that these animals bring, nobody wants to leave home without them.
Yeah, good point. Can you talk about what your company does different than other canine companies out there, Tom?
Sure, sure. Well, you know, I think all canine companies are great because I'm a dog guy, you know, all day, every day. I think what sets us apart is that, one, we're a family-run business, so it's not a job for anybody, it's a passion. Second is we are all government-certified canine handlers. When I say that, we've been issued a explosives magazine by the Canadian government. We've been issued our training kits from the Canadian government, and we have to certify our dogs with the Canadian government every 6 months.
Okay.
Above and beyond that, I'm also involved with U.S. law enforcement, and I actually fly out annually to train with different police departments, and I am a certified canine handler, police canine handler with the U.S. departments as well.
Amazing. So a dog comes to you. Can you take us through the whole process of it coming to you, it arriving, and you training it, and it being ready for action?
Sure, sure. So when a dog comes to us, first of all, what we're doing is we're fitting the dog into the job or the capacity that we have a contract for. Police dog will be a totally different trained dog at the end than a personal protection home dog. So when we bring a dog in for the police, this is referred to as a dual purpose dog, which means generally speaking that the dog has to be able to track human scent, apprehend criminals, and yet turn around and go to a kindergarten school to do a demonstration for the kids. So that's a temperament that we're looking for. And again, the dogs come with the raw instincts. We just put in the fine details.
And how long does that whole process take on average?
So on average, a dog is generally ready to hit the streets when it's about anywhere between 14 to 18 months old, depending on the dog and its given genetics.
What are the differences between a personal dog and a service dog?
So a personal dog is pretty much in its name. A personal dog has to be good with family members, including children. A personal dog has to be one that is stable and confident. The reason I say that is you don't want a dog at your house barking because a twig has fallen in the backyard, right? You don't want to set off any false alarms. Yet you have to have a dog that's very good with children who are playing, running, maybe even pulling on the dog's ears. It has to have that low-key temperament. Yet it has to have the confidence to face evil, as in the case of a home invasion. That's the main difference between a personal dog. A security dog or a police dog has a little bit more prey drive, has the innate desire to chase things, which is the opposite of what you want in a house. I guess that's the best way to put it.
Yeah, I have a lot of yappy dogs in my neighborhood.
Sure.
They would never be considered a security dog, correct?
Well, I guess, you know, if you're looking at true security to take out threat, yeah, no. But, you know, even a yappy dog has its place because at least it gets everyone's attention.
That's a good point.
Right?
Let's go back to talk about how long you've been in this business, what got you started in this business, and what you love so much, you and your son, about this canine business.
Sure. Well, I've been in the business now for 32 years. And I guess I've just made a connection with dogs, and I know how to bring out the best in them, and probably vice versa as well. You know, a dog is man's best friend, and once you have a dog trained and he's by your side and you're on the streets, anybody who's handled a dog before will tell you that you can certainly trust your dog.
Yeah.
A dog has an innate ability to sense danger. A dog has an innate ability to protect its pack. And a trained dog is not something that it forgets what it was trained in. It does the work because it understands that the handler is pleased in its work. So this is a never-ending relationship that brings out the best in both.
What is something that you've seen along the way, and this goes to your son as well, in terms of getting your dogs out there, them tackling an issue, but it hasn't surprised you? Or are you being surprised constantly by what your canines can do out there in the world?
Yeah, I mean, I'll answer that. I guess Dave can put in his part, but I am always still truly surprised. Right when I think there's nothing in this building, you know, my dog will pull me in a whole different direction. And that is usually the biggest hurdle with dogs and handlers is we need to trust our dogs because they're trained, they have a nose and ears that are much better than ours, and we just need to let them lead and do what they've been trained to do. So yes, we've been surprised many times. Too often to mention. We do a lot of volunteer search work. Once we've been hooked up with Cancom, they have all sorts of projects that they have us undertaking. So yeah, it's a big world and there's a lot of room for dogs.
David, can you add to that?
You see dogs do some miraculous things even when they're not trained. So because they're a team member now, they step up to the plate even when you're not expecting them to.
What's the future of canine services? What does it have in store for us? We've seen, you know, super dogs on the big screen. We've seen dogs tackle and take on just about anything. But where do you see the future of canine services going?
So the beauty about canines is that canines are highly adaptable. If you look back at the history of dogs, you know, a dog will survive on the street by understanding where food is, what time a certain person opens up his business door. So dogs are highly adaptable creatures. Fast forward that into our time and our day, today you see dogs being used to scent COVID. Recently, law enforcement in the United States are using dogs to detect certain types of bed bugs known as Cimex dogs, C-I-M-E-X. This is where dogs are picking up on human DNA off of these bugs. So what that does is it allows the police officers or detectives to tie the victim or the perpetrator to that particular scene. So, you know, dogs are evolving every day, and their trainability and adaptability allow us to use them all day, every day.
General, did you know that COVID had a scent? I had no clue.
I had no clue, but that's just the amazement of what dogs can provide.
Yeah. Have you come across one in your travels that you've grown an attachment to? That
I have an ultimate respect for all the dogs that are doing great service because they save lives.
Yeah.
And
Bottom line.
the men and women that work alongside of them just can't say enough about them. And you know, everybody loves a dog, but the important thing is, Cancom has a capability that a lot of companies don't, and we can get into more things that, as Tom has described, than other companies, and that's just something that distinguishes us from others.
Thank you for being part of this segment. We're learning so much in this world of security. Canines, they could send COVID. Who knew? More to learn on the next Cancom Talk.